Hi everyone, welcome back to the Spirit of '97. We've had a mixed start, I would say, to the first half of the season as we come into the last game before the winter break. We've done very well in the Champions League, but we've had mixed results in the actual league itself, in the Bundesliga. But yeah, it's making things a bit more interesting this season. So yeah, let's get into it. So just as we start to take a look at our form since we last saw you against Chelsea, do me all a favour, everyone. Come on, drop a like down below. You can comment PSG suck. Actually, that would be great if you could do that for me. Yeah, comment that for now, and I'll explain why in a bit. Or comment Makoko. That'll do. So yeah, I last saw you here against Chelsea. Well, we followed that lovely result up with some straight wins. We beat Hertha 3-0. We beat Frankfurt 2-0. Arezzo getting in on the goals again. That was probably the last time he scored for us. He's been pretty pants since then. Oh, no, sorry, he scored against Salzburg. But yeah, he's been pretty pants since then. We then beat Benfica. This is where things started to slip slightly. Slightly, I say slightly. A 3-0 loss at home to Leipzig. It was truly, truly terrible. We didn't play horrific, but players like De Ligt and Mendes had really poor games. Hoffenheim was a 0-0 draw, really impotent performance. Then we beat Salzburg 4-1, Bielefeld 5-0, Dusseldorf in the Cup 2-0, Cologne in the league 3-1, Salzburg again, Paderborn we beat 4-2 with a Makoko hat-trick, then drew against Augsburg 0-0 away. Again, another quite impotent performance. Defensively in midfield, we were generally pretty solid. It was going forward, we really struggled, and that's why, Arezzo is finding himself out of favour at the moment because he's really struggling to deliver. Then drew with Chelsea at home 2-2. It's important to note that by this point, after this victory against Salzburg, we were already guaranteed to finish first in the group. So, we were able to take our foot off the gas slightly. Then a 0-0 draw at home to Wolfsburg. 2 0-0 draws in the league back-to-back. And by this point, I was starting to get a little bit brassed off. We then went to Bayern Munich, took the lead through Kimpembe. And then Bayern Munich came back and beat us 2-1. And I was starting to really get concerned that the league campaign was going to slip away from us before we even got to the winter break. But then we followed it up with a 3-1 win over Gladbach. Lost to Benfica in the Champions League, which was it was a double-edged sword. So if you're here watching from the Discord, you will know that I joked about throwing this game. Because if I lost this game, it would have meant that Benfica would go through regardless of what Chelsea did. Obviously, I was joking. But as it was, we were just actually quite poor, and we did lose 1-0 away to Benfica, which meant that Chelsea came third, so Benfica go through. So that's one sort of relatively serious rival, I think, out the way for the Champions League. We've played Benfica before. It's 3 wins for us and one defeat, I think, now. So, I'd be relatively optimistic were we to meet them again. And we've literally just battered Hamburg 5-1, a hat-trick for Makoko. 1 for Bellingham and 1 for Leao. So our game next is against Heidenheim in the league, who are currently about 14th. So it should be a relatively run-of-the-mill result. We've been using a couple of different tactics. So what we've been using mostly is this one, which is the other one that I talked about last episode, which I created. We get a lot of overloads all over the pitch through Kimmich and Mendes playing as the inverted wing-backs on attack. They basically end up creating almost like a front 7, I think it works out being, for want of a better situation. Kessié, De Ligt and Kaiki or Kimpembe or whoever it is who plays in defence basically stay here on the halfway line. And these inverted attacking wing-backs basically end up sitting here and here respectively, so almost as 2 number 10s. With Bellingham and Gavi in and around them, and Demir Leao kind of pushing in and supporting Makoko. So going forward, it creates a lot of exciting situations, but we've seems to have struggled a little bit at times. I think, to be fair, though, Makoko is, while he's actually still having a good season for him, it's quite tame. in 19 appearances, he's only on 16 goals. Which, when you think about it previously, he's got, look at that. 54 goals in 46 appearances. 30 goals in 29 appearances. So don't get me wrong, he's not playing badly, but, he didn't score for the first 5 or 6 games, so he's been very slow off the mark. But today, we're going to just go back to this for now. We used this formation last time out against Hamburg, just after a couple of, that result against Benfica. I thought we'd just try this again against Hamburg, who are a reasonable opposition. And as you saw, we won 5-1. So we're going to try this. We're playing for Tannen up front. He scored against Gladbach, you may have saw, as did Angelo. Now, Angelo's been asking for a bit more game time, so, I'm obliged to give it, I feel obliged to give it to him because, he's a prospect. I don't want to neglect him. I don't want to risk stagnating his development and also risk losing him because I think he's someone who could become really quite good for us. Kimmich staying in at right back. Kaiki staying in at centre half. Bringing in Ariel Ramos for a game. He's a really good youngster for us. I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, you can see his attributes fine there. Really good heading. Decent prospect. One thing I forgot to show you last time, which I said I would. Where is he? Mauricio Piqué's attributes. He's had a good, solid season for us. He's made 3 appearances in the league. He's also played in the Champions League a few times. In fact, we're going to put him in the team. Who for? Maybe we'll drop Kimpembe out for this. Gabriel Veron and Bergman Johannesson, they are both leaving. We'll get the game out of the way and then we'll look into, my concerns about the season that we've had so far. I don't want to sort of waffle on with admin for too long, but I'll get into that in a bit. This is the formation tactic we're going with. This is the team. So let's see how we get on. So the game against Heidenheim is underway, and let's see how this 4-3-3 delivers again. Like I said, it's done all right at times. I think I've been a bit maybe reading into things a little bit too much so far this season. I wouldn't necessarily say we've been playing badly at times. There's been a lot of games where we've actually created a lot of chances. We've just really seemed to struggle up top for some reason. Like I said, Moukoko potentially not having the best start to the season. Demir's not been in great form. He has been injured though, as is Adeyemi. Adeyemi is out for a good 2 months, which is 2-3 months, which is really frustrating. Wirtz has been injured. Leao's been injured. We've had quite a few key injuries to, key players, which I think have definitely impacted on our flow. That is why, it sounds stupid, but that's why Veron and Johannesson are leaving. Basically, Veron felt I'm probably never going to be good enough to play here, and I agreed with him, because whenever I played him, he was really quite... Vatanen, what a goal. Whenever I played him, he was really quite poor, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know why, he just never seemed to deliver. And when I basically streamlined the squad to an extent in the summer to try and stop stifling these players' development, the likes of Gabriel Veron and Bergman Johannesson, because they're good young players who I felt really had a good chance to shine for us, but there was a lot of other seasoned pros or whatever in the way. So I thought streamline the squad gives more players a chance to get games. Unlucky Banningham. Good work from Tijani. Here's something we'll talk about in a bit. Like I said, we've had a few injuries or players been struggling with performance. It's been like, right, this is a great chance for them to come in and try and show me what they're all about. And they've just really not taken the chance, if I'm being honest, like really, really not taking the chance. And I've managed to get about 20 mil each for them, just shy, which... Veron we bought for about 10 mil, so we're basically doubling the profit on him, and we're making about a 5 mil profit on Johannesson, which we're going to use to reinvest in the squad. We've already spent some of it. We brought in Darwin Núñez from Benfica. He was transfer listed 8.5 mil. I've actually not got the full scout report on his attributes, but I thought for 8.5 mil, I thought he's a good rotation option, someone who in previous FMs has been really, really good. So I figured, even if he's just someone who can, come off the bench or fill in for us in games against the likes of Heidenheim or lower league table teams, and it just gives, Makoko a chance to rest or whatever, then great. I don't think he's going to do a bad job for us, but how good a job he does for us, I guess, will depend on how well he hits the ground running. Excuse me. Unlucky Bellingham again. You have to excuse me, everyone. I'm coming down with another cold, so if don't seem 100% with it, that's why. But you'll see the league table there with third, 2 points behind Gladbach and 2 points behind Bayern Munich, although Bayern Munich have still technically got a game in hand there kicking off later on today. Leipzig, are they currently drawing maybe? And that's why we're level on points with them, or maybe they're winning, I'm not sure. So I think in terms of league form, it's possibly Vatanen. Yes, Vatanen with his second goal of the game, a lovely assist from Tijani. Tijani is someone who he scored a few goals for us this season. That's one thing I've liked about the inverted wing-backs bombing forward in that really attacking formation, that we've got that attacking tactic, is the inverted wing-backs really getting in and around the box, and they're, quite a bit of a goal threat as a result. So, and Tijani is someone who's sort of really benefited from that. He only seems to score screamers. I think all of his goals so far have come from outside the box, and they've all been top corner, top bin rockets. It's been incredible, to see. But yeah, so sorry, going back to the league, teams are dropping points in and around us. Bayern Munich dropping points, Gladbach are dropping points. We had a run, of games where we dropped about 7 points from 3 games. And yet despite that, we're still only 2 points off the top, and that's because other teams are just dropping points. So I don't think hard to say whether it's just the standard at the top is dropping, or if the standard below the top, sort of 4 or 5, is increasing. I don't know why. Cologne have been in the Champions League this season. That just goes to show you, the level of improvement in certain teams in the league who ordinarily may have struggled. Gladbach have qualified top of their Champions League group along with us and Bayern Munich. I think Cologne missed out in the end. They were in a group with PSG and another sort of fairly big team. We'll have a look at that in a bit. So they should be going into the Europa League if they haven't qualified for the Champions League knockouts. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of it is down to that, or whether it's just that we're struggling and a few of the other teams are struggling or dropping points as a result. I don't know, but it's certainly making things a bit more exciting. It looked like we could end up being in a 4-way title race, which in past seasons it's kind of been between me and Bayern Munich. Last season, Gladbach kind of tried to sneak their way in, but didn't really sustain a serious threat to us or Bayern Munich. Which, if that's the case, that was really good for the league. If it is just that other teams are getting better and the overall standard in the league is improving, then he's offside. Then fantastic, and it bodes well going forward. But it's a bit frustrating for us because it's making things a bit more difficult. But as you can see, look at that. 4 teams separated by 2 points. Wolfsburg is still kicking around. They're 6 points behind at the moment. A few results, swing one way or the other, and they could be back up there. So, in terms of Champions League football, like I said, we qualified top of the group with 2 games to spare because all the teams around us just kept drawing. And as I said, we did lose that last game to Benfica, which meant that Chelsea got knocked out. So Chelsea will go into the Europa League. We have got the draw already. We are playing in the first knockout round against Sporting, which is definitely a favourable draw for us when we look at the teams who have gone through. The teams we could have played, we could have played Barcelona, we could have played Man United, we could have played Monaco, who, again, I would have been quite happy to have played. But, Sporting Lisbon is definitely a more favourable result for us. You may remember we have played them before, and we've not always done particularly well against them. In the group stage in the first season, we did struggle. We did actually lose, I think, 4-0 away from home at one point. So what I've just done is I've just changed the tactic to the 4-3-3 inverted wing back, just so you can see kind of how it's going to play out. There's only 10 minutes or so to go, but it just might be quite interesting to see if we can ramp it up in the last 10 minutes and really turn on the charm and put a few goals passed against Heidenheim just towards the end of the game. There's Wirtz, and he scores. There's one. That is a really quite lovely goal from Wirtz. Garvey to Kessie, from Kessie, plays it to Wirtz, touch, and bends it in. He's someone who struggled to really get into his groove, Wirtz, for us, considering we spent a lot of money on him. I would have hoped he would have achieved a bit more by now, but I think that's probably not been helped by the fact that he has been injured and he's kind of struggled for fitness. So hopefully, and is he going to get another one? Off the bench, I thought he was going to get a brace. Anyway, so yeah, he definitely could have done better, but I won't hold it against him when, like I said, he has struggled with injuries. Excuse me. Been really impressed with Vatanen though today. I'll show you a screenshot in a bit. He's a young Finnish striker who you may remember we picked up last season. We signed him from Sittard in Holland or Netherlands, sorry, and he scored off the bench. No, I think that we start him against Garking in the cup and he scored. And then we started him against Gladbach and he scored inside about 5 minutes. Kimmich whipped in a lovely corner to the far post and he just tapped it in. It was really quite a nice little goal. And then, yeah, he's got 2 today. So, he may be putting his name forward as someone who, despite his age, like Makoko, is ready to do a decent job for us. Just want to spare a thought for this. Anana gets man of the match after making 2 saves with an 8.1 rating, and he also made a tackle, apparently. Vatanen, who scored 2 goals, no. Go figure. Let's have a quick look at the Champions League. So this is the draw. You've got Man City v Barcelona, Juve v Man United, and PSG v Bayern Munich. So they are probably the biggest 2 games going, really. The biggest few games there. Man City, Barca, Juve United, and PSG Bayern. I think Cologne, actually, now I've seen it, they were in Porto's group. Cologne were in Porto's group, and they only finished 1 point. 1 point outside, to be fair. Meanwhile, ourselves and Gladbach went through top, and Bayern Munich came second behind Man City. The other thing that I keep forgetting to say, I've been meaning to say throughout this whole episode, and I forgot to say it last time, which is stupid because I touched on players retiring last time in Marco Reus. One person you might have noticed who is missing really quite substantially is Cristiano Ronaldo. He also retired at the end of last season. So that really did shaft us a little bit, to be honest with you, because we were counting on him for this season to be, if not like a main striker, certainly someone who could fill in quite comfortably. Even if, it meant resting some of the other players. He was someone who we were thinking, even at his age of 39, he was still had peak attributes, and we thought he could be really good. Mentoring wise, it'd be great, and he just retired because he was worried he'd have to drop down a level to, maintain his performance standards. And it's like, mate, you could do a job for us right now without any issues. And now looking forward to the new year. Obviously, January is going to bring with it some transfers. We're probably going to do a bit of a mini rebuild just to try and improve the depth in the team, because one thing that has been highlighted in the first half of this season is that outside of our first team squad, the depth just isn't reliable. Much like my other team, my main team, I guess you could say, in Everton. But even then, you could argue that generally the first 11, there's probably about 3 or 4 good players there. Whereas obviously here at Dortmund, we're in a bit of a better position than that. But yeah, looking forward, next game is obviously going to be the Champions League. That's what we are gunning for on this save now, really. We've already won the league twice. We've won the German Cup. All that's eluding us now is the Champions League. So we will be bringing it back for that return leg in March against Sporting Lisbon. Hopefully, we'll sail through that one. And we'll be on to the quarterfinals and we'll see who we face. Once again, everyone, I really appreciate you watching. We've had some really nice comments lately as well. I really appreciate those of you, dropping in the comments saying how much you're enjoying the save, or why you're enjoying the save, or why you're invested in it, or whatever. Really, really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. Anything, any thoughts, anything you want to say. If you want to ask for advice on anything, there's, people comment if they can help you. There's also the link to Jake Cooper's Discord down below, which is great. It's a really nice community. I really enjoy being a part of that community. It's great. So yeah, feel free to join there. Yeah, I think that's it from me, everyone. Seemed a bit all over the place today. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm coming down with something again. So it's not COVID. I've done my tests. But yeah, take it easy, everyone, and stay safe. And I'll see you next time on the Spirit of 97.